Hello, welcome to Screen Talk with yours truly, Nomfanelo. So the other day, I was just scrolling through Twitter and I found a post that mentions that Dan Lin, who is now the new head of Netflix's film division, is wants to bring some changes to the platform. So let me just share this article that I found on Looper. So the original article that talked about this story is on the New York Times, and I cannot open the New York Times because it's under paywall. So I guess Looper here is the best option for me. So if there's anything missing here from this article that was mentioned from New York Times, just let me know in the comments section. So here is what they have to say. So they mentioned that Netflix has adopted an aggressive strategy when releasing movies to its platform. So I think 2021 mentions that they've released a new movie every week. Um, and they have managed to work with some notable filmmakers such as Guillermo del Toro, Martin Scorsese, David Fincher, just to name a few. Now, it seems like now, under Dan Lin, they're going to be very selective when it comes to producing their original movies. So, mentioned here that New York Times published article where they detailed a new plan set forth by Dan Lin. The biggest change is his intention to focus on quality over quantity. I mean, which is not bad because many people argue that a lot of the Netflix films range from mixed to negative in regards to the quality of the films. I say for me, you could find some good gems here and there, but for the most part, they're not that great. So, also, excuse me. So, really, it just depends on your taste levels, I suppose, but and what you're in the mood to look for. So, yeah, if you really look, I guess, amongst their films, you could find something worthwhile, but for the most part, not so much. And unless if you want to look for stuff to put in the background, but really, it depends on your taste levels. That's how I'll put it. So, so they mentioned here that in the past they have made movies that have like a big budget, such as Red Notice, The Gray Man, and it seems like now like they're going to be very stingy when it comes to the budget. Obviously, I think that's happening across the board, like with Hollywood movies. But I think for streamers, especially, since, as I've mentioned before, that the financial aspects of streaming is not fine tuned in terms of making a huge profit out of those. So now, like, they have to be very strategic and very picky when it comes to producing the original slate. So they mentioned here that Netflix they dropped a film called Aurora, which originally had Catherine Bigelow to direct before she left, and also too they're not going to move forward with a movie that had Millie Bobby Brown attached, despite how she's, I guess, considered to be the poster child with Stranger Things and the Enola Holmes series. And despite like with those proposed changes, they can be very adamant on one thing, which is to prioritize streaming over theatrical. So even though they're going to cut costs, they still want to put their movies directly onto the service. Of course, there's been exceptions such as Glass Onion, which was the Knives Out sequel, where I think that was in theaters for a week or two. I remember it did very well at the time because I saw it during opening weekend, and it's a shame that you know they didn't really prioritize the theaters with that, because I'm really curious with that movie in particular, because I know that there's going to be more Knives Out sequels, and I'm just curious, are those going to still be with Netflix, or is Ryan Johnson going to find external platforms or distributors to find a home for those movies? I mean, we shall see. Um, so also it mentions that John Fithian, former president of the National Association of Theater Owners, said the data from pandemic is clear that movies released only to streaming don't get the awareness and pop of a movie that was first released theatrically. In addition, yeah, which which is true. And in addition to limiting output, it appears Dan Lin wants to scale back what the company pays their actors and creatives. For example, Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne Johnson, and Gal Gadot were reportedly paid 20 million each to star in Red Notice. Instead, there will be a greater emphasis on offering bonuses after the fact, depending on how well a given movie performs. So, according to the article, plenty of individuals are worried this could scare off talent, but others remain optimistic it could present new opportunities for artists. If Netflix wants more than expensive action movies, it may invest in low mid budget films in genres that major studios often ignore, like rom coms. Neither Netflix nor Lin commented on anything in the article, but hopefully artists receive the tools and resources they need to continue making great works. And then that's it. So, yeah, it just seems like, I guess, to summarize, that they want to cut costs and also to um, prioritize, I guess, the types of movies they want to produce. And for me, like the from what I gathered, is that they want to focus on more commercial movies over movies that you could say are either auteur or essentially stuff that's not mainstream. And I'm really curious, is that strategy going to work for Netflix in the long term? I mean, we shall see, because it's very up in the air and this was just announced not too long ago. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I don't know. It seems like it might scare certain filmmakers away. And yeah, I mean, that's all what I have. But I think for certain filmmakers that, I guess, that had more creative freedom beforehand, like Martin Scorsese or David Fincher, I have a feeling that they're gonna look elsewhere if they're not able to get what they want in terms of deals with Netflix, assuming if they have deals, I'm not too sure. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on this. Let me know, what do you guys think about this? Do you think Netflix's strategy is going to work, or do you think it's going to fall flat on their faces? Let me know in the comments section. Also, too, you can check the link to my socials in the description. Also, too, if you want to support me in the channel, visit my Buy Me a Coffee link, where you could buy me a coffee, or you could join any of my membership tiers. So I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in to this one, and I hope to catch you on the next one.